Hi! So this is a short video clip for our urinalysis. So these are the instruments that we need for the urine laboratory test. So what you can see here is that we have a beaker. Okay. This is a test tube. A cylinder. A urinometer. Okay. If you could see, there are actually calibrations here or measurements. We have a dropper. This is the reagent that we will use later for the protein determination test, which is the acetic acid. Okay. By the way, inside this beaker is a blue colored solution, and this is what we call the Benedict solution. This will be used later for the glucose determination test. We also have here the dipstick. Okay. So what we need to do now is first, once you receive the specimen or the urine sample in the laboratory, you need to transfer it on a test tube. Make sure it is well mixed, okay? The first thing you need to identify is the color. So as you can see, it's light yellow. Next is the transparency. For you to know whether it's clear, turbid, you need a printed material at the back, like this. And if you can see clearly the letter at the back of the test tube, you could label your specimen as clear. So for our urine sample, it is light yellow and it's clear. The next thing you need to do is to transfer it on a cylinder for us to determine the specific gravity. Make sure that the cylinder is only 2/3 filled to avoid spillage of the urine. After doing that, you have here your urinometer or urometer. It is graduated and with numbers. As I've mentioned on my lecture, you need to read the level of the urine within eye level and take note for the lower meniscus. Okay. When you put this urinometer on the cylinder, make sure to put it gently while twisting it. Okay. So if you could see, you should read it on your eye level, and the specific gravity of this urine specimen is around 1.02. Okay? After knowing the specific gravity, you could actually also use this specimen to determine the other chemical substances present in the urine. This is what we call the urine dipstick. Before using this, make sure that you check the expiration date. Oh, wala siya dito. It's in the box. Okay? Please double check the expiration date before using it to avoid erroneous result. So on the canister, you will see that there are actually 4 chemicals, or actually 3 plus the pH level, wherein you can determine using this urinary dipstick. On each chemical, you will notice that there are different colors indicated there. What you just need to do is first get one urinary dipstick. Okay. After that, just simply dip it on the urine. Wait for 30 seconds or for the time indicated on each dipstick. For example, if the urine dipstick is, as you can see, the pH level, it turned to be yellow. So the pH of this urine is 6. For the specific gravity, it's around 1.020. Same is true with the manual result we did a while ago. And with the glucose determination, it did not change its color. That's why it's still negative. So no glucose determined on this urine specimen. For the protein, it's also negative. Okay? But by the way, before you do this procedure, please make sure that you check the dipstick prior dipping it on the urine specimen. What you need to check is to check for the color of the baseline of the dipstick if it is the same with the negative result on your canister or comparator block. Okay. So now, what I want you to know is how to do the determination of glucose in the urine by using the Benedict solution. So what you will do is to have at least 5 ml of Benedict solution in your test tube. So I will use a dropper. So this is 5 ml of Benedict solution. Make sure that your Benedict solution is color light blue. If not, it means most likely you are using an expired Benedict solution or it is contaminated. So after doing that, you just need to add 5 drops of urine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Expose it on a heat. For at least 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Example, if after 2 minutes, the solution did not change its color, it means that there is no glucose present in the urine. But just to give you an example or an idea, if it really changes its colors, if there is glucose present in the urine, I have here some carbonated drinks that I could use. So I will just simply add few drops of it. Kunwari, glucose siya. Okay? Then let's try to heat it. Would it change its color? Let's see. Okay. So the principle behind here is the copper reduction. So the copper sulfate will be reduced to cuprous oxide in the presence of glucose and alkali. So what you can see here, it changed its color into somewhat green supernatant, okay, with yellow precipitate. So after that, you need to interpret the result. If you want to determine the presence of protein in the urine, you will use this reagent. This is what we call the acetic acid. So here, what you will do is you will put 5 ml of acetic acid on a test tube and then add 5 drops of urine. Then again, heat it. Proteins denatures in the presence of heat and acid. So if there is change in color, okay, you need to record it. So we have here a rough estimate of 5 ml of acetic acid. Then add 5 drops of urine. 1, 2, 3. And then again, expose it to heat. Note for any development of flocculation or granules. Okay. Since we all know that the urine sample a while ago revealed that there is no presence of protein in the urine, we will notice that there would be no change of color or any discoloration or formation of flocculation in this urine sample. Okay? So that would be all. It is as easy as that. Hope you learned something this afternoon. Bye!